So the reason Heidi and I are talking about this today is because we have a big rainstorm on the way. So we had all the snow melt, that's all in the ground right now, and we're about to get pounded with 2 inches of rain tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how a lot of these old New England homes handle that much water. I'm out here and I'm standing on a big snowbank right in front of my kitchen window. This is from all the snowfall we've gotten and a bunch of snow that we've shoveled off our roof. We've shoveled our roof off twice so far this year.
That should be fine, Heidi.
I'm standing on snow right now. Can't illustrate it much better than that. Those are my feet. That's my kitchen window. When the snow melts, that creates water. That water all needs a place to go. So that water's hitting the ground and probably seeping into this big pile somewhere. And as you can see in here, the meltage has begun. Sun is shining. It's got to be like mid 40s. Feels like it's raining out here because there's so much water coming off of the trees. Tell you one thing, these old New England stone walls know a thing or two about dealing with winter. These things have been putting up with winter for 200 years. So as you can see, we got a ton of water coming off our roof right now. We don't have gutters. It's an old house. That's a purposeful choice. Gutters would help a lot with that. What we did instead is we put in crushed stone and drainage line here that you can see. That's where all the water's coming down. So all that water that's coming down there is actually getting into a pipe, and that's being piped out to daylight away from our house so that we're not going to have any problems. Bear with me as I try to navigate this. All right. So you can see how this snow and ice just backs up, right? It's crazy. This is spring in New England, and you need a shovel. This will all melt off in a couple hours. We did the same thing over here. We've got crushed stone with pipe in it. That pipe's down here. Built a little stone wall here. That was to get a little bit of elevation so we could put our pipe in here, fill that trench with stone. Our sump pump comes out here. Everything comes out right about there where those footprints are. Drains down to a culvert at the bottom of the hill. Goes across the street out of the area. It won't be long now until all this snow is absolutely gone. Nice and warm today. We can start seeing grass. We did a big project. We put in piping, all this crushed stone. Check it out. System's doing its job. And just like that, no more snow. So the water comes off the roof, goes down the drip edge. Some of it goes out our perimeter drain up at the surface. Some of it gets past there and comes down here. Any water that comes down here is going to run down this back wall, go under the slab, hit these big 4-inch drainage pipes. All those go to our sump pump. The sump pump pumps it out, goes outside, drains down a hill. The water is gone. It's Phil and Heidi Olivo here, broker owners of P&H Property Consulting. We're down in our basement right now, and as we were just showing you guys, we got a big winter with a lot of snow. We're in the middle of a spring warm-up right now, and all that water needs a place to go. Inevitably, some water is always going to find its way down to the basement. So we've taken a lot of precautions here. We love doing this stuff, and we're going to share a little bit about what we did down here with you guys. So Heidi, why don't you tell them a little bit about the project?
When it rains a lot, your water table is going to rise. Water will always find its own level, so it's going to try and push into every crack that you have to find that level. So what we did, like I said, was parge coat the walls to keep it out and also put that French drain to catch any of that water. That French drain is going to lead it directly to our sub pump. So when it fills up, our sub pump turns on and the water goes bye-bye out of our basement.
Right. And so this wall behind us actually used to be all gappy and there was no mortar in between the individual stones. So that can let water in, it can let air in, it can let pests in. It makes the basement colder. So, even things like radon gas can get through those gaps. So we plugged all that up with mortar. And now, as you can see, we have nice solid walls.
Also, on top of the French drain, we put in a concrete floor. So that will keep the moisture from evaporating into the air in the basement as well.
So Heidi, why don't you tell them what this space that we're standing in right here looked like 2 years ago before we started this project?
So this floor was dirt. It was messed up. It was all just a mishmash of old concrete and stone and dirt and just a hot mess, really.
Yep. Because we're in the spring and that groundwater comes up. So that groundwater used to come up and just flood this whole area.
It's working beautifully. We no longer have to run our dehumidifiers so much. It's much more comfortable down here.
So as real estate brokers, Heidi and I are often showing houses like this to prospective buyers. And buyers have varying opinions on old Fieldstone foundations. We have some buyers that won't even consider a Fieldstone foundation, even if it's sealed up nice like ours. We have other buyers that might be interested in a house if it looks like this, but if it looks like how our house looked a couple of years ago, they'll freak out and run. But a lot of old New England houses are going to have water in their basements right now. So buyers out in the market right now, they're going to see water in old New England basements. And, rather than making fear-based decisions, we always try to educate our buyers, right? Because you could have an old leaky foundation like we did, but there's steps you can take. And, those steps are a lot of work, but for some people, they're appropriate.
You can have water problems even with a concrete foundation. As long as the water is mitigated and taken care of, you're going to be okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing to see a sub pump. It could be a good thing, meaning that they have managed to mitigate the water out of the basement.
But if you start seeing water in a basement, you start seeing water coming through stones on a Fieldstone wall, you see a sump pump, it's kicking on, you see water pouring out of the outside, those are enough to make a first-time home buyer freak out sometimes, but they don't have to be. Sometimes those are big problems. Sometimes they standard procedure, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of these old New England homes handle that much water. And it's going to be interesting to see how our old New England house handles that much water and how our work is going to pay off. This is the biggest test that this system has seen so far, by far.